Well, hello. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Coffee with Stephen. So this week's blog is entitled The State of the Profession, and more specifically, I'm talking about my fellow lawyers that are out there. Many of you know there was a school shooting that had taken place in Saugus over the last weekend. And while I was just kind of trolling around on my Facebook feed, one of the women that I had gone to law school with, who now has a firm back in Cleveland, Ohio, had written a post where she said, "I am appalled that parents would teach their children to shoot." Now, normally I don't like to get involved in these little Facebook back and forths and everything like that. They usually have no value, but in this particular one, I figured out what the hell. I kind of chastised her on the whole idea. I said, hey, I taught both of my daughters to shoot. One is now an architect in Australia. The other one is a West Point cadet. Where did I go wrong? And, she came back and she basically was like, hey, you're a good dad. But she was still very antagonistic towards firearm usage in general, as you can imagine. And it got me thinking, because when we go to law school, we go to law school because we're linear thinkers. We're supposed to be sort of the functional equivalent of scientists. Yes, we're absolute advocates for our clients, but in reality, what we're trying to do is we're trying to take the emotions out of an argument and look at it exclusively from a factual basis, trying to make a determination as to what the truth is. Now, some would argue that our legal process of having an adversarial system is problematic to begin with. After all, if two microbiologists are essentially trying to make a determination as to what truth is, why are we going to have both microbiologists arguing about the results of something as opposed to being inquisitorial and trying to investigate what the results are? That seems to be sort of instinctively a better way of achieving knowledge of the truth. Anyways, for whatever it's worth, we still are, have an adversarial process. So during this whole little diatribe, it really got me thinking about the overall state. We've got attorneys that are supposed to be focusing in on what the truth is, and yet they've allowed their linear argumentational skills to be completely co-opted by a desire for an emotional outcome. And because of that desire for an emotional outcome, they have effectively abrogated their entire, moral authority to articulate a position. In any event, that's what I wrote about. I hope you find it interesting and hopefully not too pedantic. As always, if you would like to comment, you can certainly do so by emailing me at stephen@artemishq.com. And as always, train constantly, train consistently, train repetitively, and train with purpose. But above all else, stay safe. Until next week.